Digimon Adventure 02 is basically a sequel to Digimon Adventure 1990 and continues with a new generation of chosen children to protect the digital world from sudden disaster. As the digital world is inhabited by creatures called Digimon, and unlike Pokemon, they have more than three stages: infant, baby, child, adult, perfect, ultimate, which are called in English and training 2, rookie, champion, ultimate, and mega. This series also introduced new ways of evolution and one new stage called Armor Stage, basically a stage in between child and adult, but in this series it isn't affected by the level system. Unlike the previous season, the children get Digimon partners that helps them develop and do the fighting, each having unique personality. In the living world, they stay in training 2, while in the digital world, they upgrade to rookie. Unlike in the previous season, the children can go in and out the digital world whenever they desire. Another upgrade is to the predecessor is the addition of more variety of soundtracks for their evolutions. And the previous evolutions still use the old soundtrack, but Armor Evolution, Geogress aka DNA Evolution, and Ultimate Evolution has their own unique soundtrack. Digimon 1999 was known for its great use of protagonists, but O2 sadly can't live up to that quality writing despite having a smaller size of major main characters. Daisuke aka Davis is basically a goofy version of Taichi aka Tai. He starts off as a naive kid who is brave, but over the course of the series, he starts to worry about the others and takes their feelings into consideration, even willing to trust someone who turned a new leaf. In short, he has both Taichi's and Yamato's aka Matt's crests from the previous season and gives his takes on them. His weakness, however, is that he can be clumsy and has a crush on Hikari aka Kari, who is Tai's little sister. Rimon encourages Daisuke often and shows a lot of personality. They are similar, but often Rimon feels embarrassed being part of Daisuke's stupid plans to impress Kari. However, he has complete trust in Daisuke in fights, even if it happens to be misplaced from the viewer's perspective. He is one of the strongest members and has the most evolution. Miyako aka Yuli is an energetic nerd. However, despite her experience with computers and helping out Koshiro aka Izzy, who has the crest of knowledge a lot, she is associated with the crests of love and purity, aka sincerity. Crests that don't seem to fit her selfish, greedy and cheeky personality. Hawkmon is polite and has a cool design, and there aren't much notable interactions between the two. Yuri aka Cody is the deepest characters of the original new casts. Despite being the youngest, he is skilled in kendo and can defend himself when the situation calls for it. His father, who used to be a police officer, died in an accident during the Line of Duty, and before the start of the story, which shaped his black and white view on the world. However, over the course of the series, his worldview would change, and more tones of grey would add into it, which lead him to help reform an antagonist to the side of good. Amadimon or Armadillomon is a goofy armadillo who has some of the wildest evolutions. Sadly, he doesn't contribute much to Iori's character besides getting new evolutions out of them. From the previous season, two characters get upgraded, Digivices, and work as guides for the new generation. Them being Hikari and Takeru, who obviously grew up. Takeru, aka TK, is more self-confident unlike his previous season counterpart, and his knowledge sometimes ends up being helpful. Also, some experience from the previous seasons show a side not seen from TK so far, and despite on the surface cool stuff, there's a side of him who can't forgive anyone who abuses the power of evil, though they must be destroyed by any means. Patamon didn't change much from the previous season. Sadly, he can't use his old forms because of how the show nerfed the old cast down to make the new cast more relevant. However, he did get an armor evolution, and later he will get a Jogres. Hikari, aka Kari, was the last introduced member from the previous season, and pretty much used to be a Deus Ex Machina. In this season, she has an extra personality, being a curious child and showing the most amount of emotions, ironically. However, she is the victim of being dragged into weird dark worlds with creepy images leading to situations the other members have to save her. Luckily, that doesn't happen too often. Her partner Tailmon, aka Gatomon, got powered down, losing her holy ring, putting her power down to child level despite being an adult level Digimon. But she does have a new evolution that helps her out in fights. In the previous season, she used to be an antagonist and the deepest Digimon partner. In this season, not much of her personality shines. When she met, unless that one time where she met the ghost of her best friend and someone she hoped never to see again. While also lacks good protagonist, it makes up with great antagonist, which sets the standards for many future Digimon antagonists up to this date. Can the Digimon Kaiser, aka Digimon Emperor, is an evil chosen child who uses dark spirals and dark rings to enslave Digimon like Devimon did. But unlike Digimon, Ken is far more effective. He builds towers that enable Digimon to evolve to the next stage, unless they use armor evolution, making all the former cast members useless. He upgrades his gadgets when he sees there's an issue in them, and goes as far as building his own Digimon partner called Kameramon. Ken has a tragic past where he used to be overshadowed by his overly skilled brother. Once his brother dies, he felt that he needs to fill the hole in his family, becoming the new prodigy, to the point that everyone else ended up looking inferior to him, including his own parents. Seeing him rise, develop, and fall to one of the most interesting story arcs, not being successfully replicated by other Digimon series yet. His real partner, Wormon, is supporting him despite knowing what Ken does is wrong. However, he hoped someday that the kind Ken he befriended would one day return. There's a great character arc between these two when Wormon has to make a harsh decision to protect Ken. He lacks an armor evolution. He still ends up being one of the strongest in the show. Now, Kenimon and Mummymon are a duo of villains similar to Team Rocket from Pokemon. They are henchmen to a bigger villain, but until that gets revealed, revealed, they work effectively creating powerful Digimon using the Black Towers that were meant to seal the powers of evolution. They end up creating one of the deepest Digimon characters in the show, Black Wargreymon, which is visually just a black palette swap of the original Wargreymon. Created by the Black Towers, he is considered an evil Digimon. However, being mightier than his creators, he disappears in the hopes to find the real reason why he exists. And this leads to him fighting the protagonist very often, and his overwhelming power leads him often to win. It is very interesting to see what his search for meaning of life leads to. Oikawa is an adult man who desires to go to the digital world and is willing to do that by any means possible. He also has a traumatic past for losing a person who shared his love for digital creatures, which turns out to be Iuri's dad. He is very clever using various means to distract protagonists from the main goal and making them fight his enemies, like the Demon Corps, who come to the world of the living, creating chaos. Despite being a mere human, he uses his knowledge and assets well to get what he wants. However, there's a reason why O2 isn't as good as it could be. After the armor evolution did the purpose, we didn't see the old kids use evolutions beyond adult state. Instead, the new kids got adult states themselves, and a new evolution mechanic got introduced. So the show introduces cop-outs to prevent the old cast from using the strongest forms, so they don't overshadow the new cast. But they still get some back for a nostalgia trip arc. More and more restrictions are put, and even the adults have forgotten about Digimon. And like in Tamers O2 tries to tie in the Wonderswan games to excuse why Ken got evil. Ken's backstory got more and more confusing, with many plotlines being dropped. One of the plotlines is the Dark Ocean arc, which is awfully scary, to the point Toei only added out of respect, but never intended to do anything with it. Demon Cops were, while powerful filler villains that only existed to fill runtime. And the old kids rarely did anything of value, and the parents besides Yuri's parents were pretty much irrelevant. Female cast members were meh except Arcanimon. Miyako is selfish and hyperactive like a female Daisuke. She is more useful than Sora and Mimi were in the previous season, but her role can be replaced by Koshiro in several situations. And Hikari is less active than she was in Adventure, despite her being this time in the show from the very beginning. As a show where monsters fight each other, Digimon fights aren't really that impressive. However, once seeing the different forms and the emotional struggles to get them, it makes up for the lack of choreography. As there is a reason why many evolutions will stay with you once they appear. As the show progresses, the fights and budget improve, but the evolution, animations, and other animations will be recycled, especially the child to adult states are rather lame. And like mentioned earlier, new films get kick-ass soundtracks unique to them. Armor Evolution is an upgrade to Digimon for fast travel and other purposes. Progress or DNA Evolution is two Digimon fusing into one more powerful Digimon. Sadly, the characters can't decide who fuses with whom. Regardless, fusion is always a cool concept. The CGI in the show sometimes, which can be a turn off, but since it's Digimon, which are digital creatures, for their evolution since this is tolerable, which gives the show its unique identity. And while Digimon is a kids show, it can be off-putting or flat out scare the viewers as it goes on, since the enemies can be deviant and scary. And the Dark Ocean episode is something else. Digimon can reincarnate, but only in the digital world. Digimon dying in the living world cannot. And the show outright kills a human. Digimon O2 is decent, it struggles to live up to the standards set by its predecessor, and doesn't take advantage of its old cast to guide the new cast, which isn't to say that they never do. However, it has amazing antagonists with lots of great in them, and they set the standards for many future Digimon villains to come.